There is a version of reality you haven't accessed yet, a layer beneath the surface where the real game is being played, and the men who operate on that level, they don't announce themselves, they don't explain. They simply move through the world like architects of fate, while everyone else stumbles through like tourists. You can feel it, can't you? That gap between where you are and where you sense you could be. That's not aspiration. That's your survival instinct screaming at you that you are playing the wrong game entirely. Most men think power is something you take from others. They are wrong. Real power is what happens when you become so internally fortified, so systematically unbreakable, that the external world bends to accommodate you. Machiavelli understood this. He didn't write instructions for weak men. He wrote blueprints for builders. Men who construct empires out of willpower and strategic silence. When you truly step into this, people don't celebrate you. They get quiet around you. They sense that you have stopped participating in the same reality they inhabit, and that makes them nervous. You are here because something broke inside of you. Not a breakdown, a breakthrough. You have realized that every system you trusted was designed to keep you sedated. Your job wants you tired. Your phone wants you distracted. Your friends want you average so they don't have to feel bad about their own complacency. And you have been complicit. You have been negotiating with yourself, trading your future for momentary comfort. You want out. You want the blueprint. I am going to give it to you. But understand, this is not motivation. This is infrastructure. We are going to systematically dismantle the architecture of your weakness and rebuild you as something the world hasn't seen before. But first, you need to accept something brutal. Everything you think you know about success is theater. It's performance. And while you were watching the show, the real players were backstage running the entire operation. Are you ready to go backstage? Or are you going to keep buying tickets to watch other people win? Phase 1. The Doctrine of Strategic Opacity. Machiavelli wrote, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception." Look at your life right now. Look at how much you broadcast. Your goals, your plans, your new habits. You post the first day at the gym. You announce the business idea. You tell everyone about the person you are becoming before you have spent a single hour actually becoming them. This is why you fail before you start. Every time you announce an intention, your brain rewards you with a chemical response identical to the one you would get from actually doing the thing. So you get the hit without the work, and when it comes time to actually execute, there is no fuel left. You already spent it on applause. Here is what the powerful do. They go dark. They stop updating. They stop explaining. They disappear from the social grid entirely, and they descend into the work like miners descending into the earth. No light, no audience, just the slow, patient extraction of value from effort. When you vanish, something happens in the minds of others. They start to wonder. They project. They fill the silence with their own paranoia. What is he doing? Why hasn't he posted? Why doesn't he need validation anymore? This wondering is more powerful than any flex you could perform, because it lives in their head rent-free. You become a question mark, and question marks are magnetic. Imagine going completely silent for 6 months. No stories, no updates, no explanations to people who wouldn't understand the mission anyway. You delete the apps, you cut the dead weight, you remove every voice that isn't absolutely essential, and you work, you train, you study, you build, in the dark, in the silence, where mistakes don't have an audience and pivots don't require a public apology. Then you return, but you don't return the same. You return heavier, sharper. You don't need to tell anyone you changed. They feel it the moment you walk in. This is the power of the shadow. It terrifies people because it reflects their own lack of focus back at them. While they were performing, you were transforming. Start now. Stop justifying your decisions. Justification is the language of the insecure. The sovereign does not explain. He executes. If you are building, say nothing and build. If you are healing, say nothing and heal. If you are winning, say nothing and keep winning. Your results will announce themselves, and their voice will be louder than anything you could have ever said. Comment below if you understand. I operate in silence. Phase 2. Emotional detachment as tactical advantage. There is a myth that disciplined men do not feel, that they are numb, robotic, cold-blooded. That is not accurate. The disciplined man feels everything: the urge to quit, the sting of failure, the weight of isolation. The difference is, he does not obey the feeling. He observes it. He treats his emotions like weather patterns. He notes them. Fear, interesting. Exhaustion, interesting. And then he moves anyway. Machiavelli said, "Men are driven by fear or by love." If your actions are driven by how you feel, you are weak. Feelings are volatile. They change with your sleep quality, with whether someone liked your post. If you need to feel motivated to act, you are giving your enemies a manual for how to defeat you. All they have to do is demoralize you, make you sad. Then you stop. Then you are defeated. But if you are the kind of man who works harder when he is tired, who trains heavier when he is heartbroken, who thinks clearer when he is angry, you become unbeatable. You become immune to sabotage because there is no emotional state that stops you. You have severed the connection between internal weather and external output. This is terrifying to your competition. They cannot find the off switch. They look at you and think, "Why isn't he breaking? He should be done by now." They do not understand that you have reclassified emotions from commands to data. Here is the tool, the 5-second rule. When resistance appears, when your mind starts negotiating, you have 5 seconds to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Action. If you let it go to 6, you lose. Your brain will construct a perfectly logical reason why you should delay, why you should rest, why you should start tomorrow. Your brain is optimized for energy conservation, not excellence. It is a survival system, not a success system. You must bypass it. Over time, this becomes automatic. You stop being a person who debates with themselves. You become a machine that receives input and produces output consistently, regardless of conditions. This is how you become untouchable. When your performance is decoupled from your mood, you are free. Phase 3. The strategy of controlled distance. Machiavelli knew that to maintain power, a prince must sometimes stand alone. He wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Apply this to your circle. Look at the people around you. Are they accelerating your mission, or are they anesthesia? Most people surround themselves with comfort. They choose friends who make them feel safe, who laugh at their jokes, who never challenge them, who validate their excuses. This is a slow death, because comfort is not neutral. Comfort is erosion. The 5 people you spend the most time with are not just influencing you, they are infecting you. Their standards become your standards. Their pace becomes your pace. Their ceiling becomes your ceiling. If they are not sharper, faster, hungrier than you, they are weights. And you cannot fly with weights. Most men are terrified of solitude. They fill every gap with noise, podcasts, music, texting, scrolling, anything to avoid sitting alone with their own thoughts, because their thoughts tell them the truth. You are wasting time. You are capable of more. You are lying to yourself. To build the kind of discipline that makes people nervous, you must become comfortable in the void. You must seek isolation like a weapon. When you start to rise, watch what happens. The people who said they wanted you to win will suddenly have concerns. You are working too much. You are no fun anymore. You have changed. They are not worried about you. They are worried about themselves. Your growth is a mirror. And mirrors are cruel to people who have been lying to themselves for years. When you get in shape, the unhealthy friend feels attacked. When you build wealth, the broke friend feels judged. They will try to pull you back. Not out of malice, out of self-preservation. You must be willing to lose them. You must be willing to be called cold, obsessed, arrogant. Let them write that story, because while they are writing stories about you, you are writing the future. Isolation is the laboratory. It is where you meet yourself without the distortion of other people's projections. You hear your actual voice, you see your actual potential. Schedule it. Disappear for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. No social media, no meaningless conversations, just deep work. In that isolation, you will face demons, boredom, doubt, the part of you that wants to quit, and you will conquer them. When you walk back into the world, you will carry a frequency that others do not recognize. You will be the man who does not need them. And paradoxically, that is exactly what makes them want to follow you. Because you are full. You are not taking. You are not needing. You are complete. Phase 4. The power of calculated silence. Machiavelli advised that unpredictability is a shield. A prince must learn to be feared in such a way that if he does not gain love, he at least avoids hatred. When you are undisciplined, you are predictable. People know you will fold under pressure. They know that if they wait long enough, you will crack. You will complain. You will quit. Your weaknesses are visible, and visible weaknesses are exploitable. When you become disciplined, you become a glitch in the system. Someone insults you. You do not react, you pause. You look at them. You return to your work. A crisis happens. You do not panic. You assess. You adapt. You execute. You lose money. You do not spiral. You rebuild, quietly, methodically. This lack of reaction is a weapon, because manipulative people rely on your emotional volatility to control you. They provoke you. They wait for you to explode so they can position themselves as reasonable. When you remove the buttons, they have nothing to push. Your consistency becomes unbearable to them, because consistency is proof of internal order, and internal order is power. Imagine a man who shows up every single day. No complaints, no excuses, no fanfare, just execution, day after day, month after month, year after year. You cannot outlast him. You cannot discourage him. You cannot distract him. He is inevitable, like gravity. That man is terrifying because he represents the one thing most people cannot fathom: unwavering commitment. You want to be that man. Not aggressive, not loud, just implacable. Like a glacier, slow, silent, but crushing everything in its path. This requires you to kill the part of you that craves sympathy. Stop telling people when you are struggling. Stop posting about your hard days. Stop looking for someone to tell you it is okay to rest. When you broadcast weakness, you are showing your enemies where to strike. Machiavelli would tell you to hide your wounds, not because you are ashamed, but because you refuse to give them the satisfaction of knowing they drew blood. Stand tall. Fix your face. Walk like you know where you are going, even if you do not. Even if everything is falling apart, you do not let them see it. This is not lying. This is framing. You are framing reality. You are telling the world, I am in control, and eventually, I will be. And if you say it with your posture long enough, it becomes true. Phase 5. The absolute standard. Why do you keep failing? Because your floor is too low. You have accepted a version of reality where effort counts, where trying is enough. It is not. Results are the only currency that matters. Machiavelli studied empires, Rome, Sparta, Athens. They did not collapse because of external enemies. They collapsed because they rotted from within. They became soft. They prioritized comfort over discipline, luxury over resilience. And softness is a virus. Once it enters the system, it spreads. You are living in the most comfortable era in human history. You have heating. You have delivery. You have infinite entertainment designed by the smartest psychologists on the planet to keep you sedated. Sugar, pornography, social validation, outrage, all of it engineered to keep you weak. To be disciplined in this world is an act of rebellion. It is warfare against the system. You must declare war on your own comfort. You must create standards that seem insane to normal people. Why do you train every day? Why do you wake up at 4 a.m.? Why do you refuse to eat that? Because I am not you. You do not say this out loud, you just live it. When you hold yourself to a standard of absolute excellence, you expose the mediocrity of everyone around you. This is why they resent it. Your discipline is an accusation. If you can do it, why can't they? It is easier to call you crazy than to admit they are lazy. Let them. The Machiavellian does not lower his standards to be understood by the average. He forces the world to rise, or he leaves the world behind. You must become ruthless with your time. Time is the only asset you cannot regenerate. Every second spent on low-value activity is a second stolen from your empire. Protect your time like a warlord protects territory. Be unreachable, be selective, be brief. When people realize your attention is scarce, they value it. When they realize your time is expensive, they stop wasting it. Discipline creates scarcity. Scarcity creates value. By holding yourself to a standard most people cannot even conceptualize, you remove yourself from their competition bracket entirely. Most men are competing at sea level. The air is thin at the summit. Few have the lungs to breathe up there. But those who do, they see differently. They move differently. They are playing a different game. Phase 6. The execution of the former self. This is the hardest part. This is where most people stop. Because this is where you have to become the executioner. To become the man who makes them nervous, you must kill the man you used to be. You must kill the version of you that needed approval, that apologized for ambition, that dimmed his light so others would not feel insecure. You have to look at your past self and close the door, permanently. Machiavelli said, "There is no avoiding war. It can only be postponed to the advantage of others." You are at war with your former self. If you do not kill him, he will kill your future. He will whisper when things get hard. Just skip today. Just one drink. Just slow down. You do not have to be extreme. That voice is the enemy, and you must be merciless. You are shedding a skin. It hurts. It leaves you exposed. But it is the only way forward. You will lose people. Friends who loved the old you. Partners who were comfortable with the predictable you. Family who preferred you small. This is the cost. Do not complain about the cost. Pay it. Because on the other side of that, death is a resurrection. A version of you that operates from logic, not emotion. A version that sees the world as a chessboard, not a playground. A version that understands power, leverage, and strategy. This new you is dangerous. He scares you a little, doesn't he? Good. He should. Because power is frightening, and you are building power, not over others, over yourself. Self-mastery is the highest form of dominance. When you walk into a room with total internal sovereignty, you vibrate differently. People move. They defer. They do not know why. They just sense it. You are not to be tested. You have that look, the look of a man who has been to war with himself and won. There is no greater victory than that. The man who conquers himself conquers everything. So what happens when you commit? When you fully step into this? The noise stops. The anxiety that has been humming in the background of your life for years goes silent. Because anxiety is the byproduct of incongruence, of knowing you could be more but choosing to be less. When you are disciplined, there is no gap. You are aligned, and alignment creates peace. Not soft peace, hard peace. The peace of a man who knows he is doing everything he can. Your discipline is your truth. It is the only thing that is truly yours. They can take your money, your reputation, your relationships, but they cannot take your ability to endure. That is your fortress. That is your throne. Listen to me carefully. The world is getting weaker, softer, louder, more distracted. This is your advantage. While they decay, you harden. While they fragment, you focus. While they seek comfort, you seek the edge. You are going to make them uncomfortable, not because you want to, but because you are a living reminder of what they refuse to become. Let them stare, let them whisper, let them wonder. You have work to do. The path is cold, the path is narrow, and you walk it alone. But you are ready now. If you made it this far, you are the 0.01%. You are the outlier. Prove it. Comment below. I walk alone. And if you want to continue this descent into the psychology of power, if you want the strategies they do not teach in school, subscribe, turn on notifications. We are just beginning. The old you is dead. Now go build the kingdom.